So as we can see, right, these are Renko bars, and you can tell that Randall's using a special kind of Renko bar here. I forgot, I recognize these Renko bars, but I forgot which company actually makes these. But we can see that it's, right, there's like these bars have I think it's 2 bars in one here, right? Or it's a chart style overlaid. They are RJ. Okay, thanks, Randall. Yeah, I thought these were RJ bars. So we can see that there's kind of an internal bar, that are trying to give you accurate backtest results. So it's trying to show you, a more accurate pricing of where the market's actually traded, right? And then we have this bar, this overlay bar, to give you that hybrid Renko kind of look. So it's trying to give you 2-in-1 bars there. And so what we're interested in, and I don't have these custom bar types here. So what I have on my chart is just the Unirenko free bars here, and this will have to do for doing this demonstration. Yeah, for demonstrating this. The Unirenko bar should work just fine here. It's really just a matter of getting the open price of the bar set up correctly. So, if you have some other kind of Renko bar, what's important here is that, right, if we look at this yellow dashed line here, right, it's referencing the open price of the up bar. So that's what's important here. And then as it extends across, we can see that it equals the open price of the down bar, right? So as long as you can get your settings so that the open price of these 2 opposite bars here are the same, then that bar type should work okay with this. So we're getting to the system design here. The bar prior to the reversal bar, so we can see, right, we have a long reversal bar here. So we're going to take the open price of the prior bar and extend it across, and then after the reversal bar, we're going to analyze the next 2 bars and see if there's a pullback in price, right? So in other words, we're looking, obviously it's going to take a wick to see, does price pull back, past the open price of the prior up bar here. And we actually have the opposite situation as well, right? So if the Renko bars reverse to an uptrend, right, then we take the open price of the last down bar and extend it across and see if the wick breaks below it, if price pulls back below that opening price that happened prior to a reversal bar there. So basically, that's the crux of the system. Now, what's going to make this interesting and a little more complex is that this is supposed to run in real time. So in other words, the calculate mode of BloodHound and or Raven or Blackbird, right? So if you're going to throw these BloodHound signals into the Raven strategy or the Blackbird strategy, right, then also the strategies have to operate with the calculate set to on price change. Sorry, it needs to be set to on price change there. All right, so let me see here. It looks like there's another comment here. See, Randall's saying you would want the bar plus at least 1 tick. When you say you want the bar, a bar consists of 4 prices there, Randall. So I need to know what you're talking about here. Yeah, because you can't take a bar. There is no price. A bar doesn't have a singular price. A bar has 4 prices, right? A bar has the open, high, low, and close. Yeah, so when you guys talk about prices, it is important to specify which price we're talking about here. Randall's saying, it needs to pass through the yellow line by at least 1 tick. Yeah, right, granted, right. Kind of took that for granted there. Yeah, we are looking for price to penetrate through the yellow line or penetrate past the open price, right, of the prior, bar in the opposite direction there. Yeah, so for example, there's no signal here on this bar because price did not pull back past the open price of that bar there. So as mentioned, this system is to run in real time. So we need to go into the BloodHound settings, right? So let's open up the indicator window. There you go. And select BloodHound. And so your calculate mode has to be set to on price change. So we don't actually need on each tick. That's not necessary for this type of system. Generally speaking, on each tick is only required if an indicator requires it. All right. So if an indicator does not require on each tick, then it's best for a NinjaTrader to just use on price changed. So, all right, let's click OK, and there we go. All right, so time to finally get BloodHound open here. Let's get to work. All right, so first thing I need to do is set today's file name in here. So I'm going to use the change button. There we go, 14th. Got a file name. And so I'm going to switch over to the logic tab there. Create myself a new logic template here. Let's see. All right, so there we go. There's some kind of a name for it. So the primary kind of condition here, that's common to all this is a reversal bar. All right. So let's detect those reversal bars. And that's real simple. We just use a indicator inflection solver or an inflection solver. These names here are actually kind of antiquated. So, these solvers are no longer indicator only based. So back in the early days of BloodHound, these solvers really only ran on indicators. But nowadays, all these solvers include analyzing bar prices as well. So even though they say indicator slope, indicator inflection, they're more universal now. So I just call it the inflection solver or the crossover or the slope solver, whatever. So we're going to take the inflection solver and we're actually going to set it to price, or actually, since this is a Renko bar, we could call this a bar inflection. So with Renko bars, bar inflections are very consistent, right? So bar inflection, or you could call it price inflection. And then the input, we're going to change it from an indicator to price. And we'll look to see when the closing price of the bar reverses directions, right? So there you go. Simple enough, right? Whenever there is a reversal bar, there we go. We get a signal now. And actually, you know what? That was wrong. There we go. So let's get rid of that one. There we go. Okay, so there's the main condition that we're looking for, is for a bar to reverse, and then we can analyze the next two bars afterwards to see if there's a pullback there. All right. So next, what we're going to need is a comparison solver. All right. So let's break this down. What are we doing here? What are we comparing? Right. So when we get to the next bar here, so what we're comparing is we're looking at the low of the bar, right? The wick, which is the low price of the bar, and we're comparing it to the open price of two bars back, right? So that's what we're doing, is we're comparing the low price to the open price. Now this is for the first bar after the reversal, right? And then our logic's going to have to change when we move on to the next bar. So on the next bar, we're also going to compare the low of that bar to the open of the previous bar. All right, so that's what we're comparing. Is we're comparing, the two different prices, right? Comparing the low to the open, and then on the next bar we'll compare the low to the open price. All right, so with the comparison solver here, let's see here. We're going to compare the low, and I'm going to use a programming term that a lot of people seem to understand these days, of a zero bracket, right? So in programming terms, and this is what NinjaTrader uses as well, that a bracket with a number inside is telling you which bar you're looking at. So 0 is going to be the current bar. All right, so we're looking at the low of the current bar. So that's what the 0 means there. And then we're going to compare that to the open. Well, I guess I might as well spell these out here. I usually like to try and abbreviate things. So we're comparing the low to the open. Right? And so what is it going to be? It's going to be the open of 2 bars back. Because BloodHound is running with the calculate mode set to on each tick, so yeah, so if you remember, we went into the indicator settings and set BloodHound to operate on. We set BloodHound's calculate to on price changed. So when this bar is building, right, this is bar 0. So this would be bar 1, and this will be bar 2. Right? So this is bar 0. And so, yeah, let's just move it like that, right? So let's pretend like this, we're looking at this in real time. So this is going to be bar 0 here. Let's get these out of the way. So, all right, so going back to the solver here, right, we want to compare the low to the open. So input A, that will be set to price, and input B is also going to be set to price. And so, so keep in mind here, so, right, what we're expecting is a long signal here, right? So, so for this bar, so for a long signal, we're looking at the low price. And if we go back here, if it's going to be a short signal, and let's get that auto scale going there. So if it's a short signal, we're going to be looking at the high price of the bar, right? So the wick for a short signal is going to be the high of the bar. So for a long signal, we're using the low of the bar. And if it's going to be a short signal, we're going to be looking at the high wick of the bar. So, all right. And our look back period is going to be set to 1. Keep in mind that a period is different than a bar index. Yeah, so a period, there's no such thing as a 0 period. Right? You can't have a 0 period SMA. Periods always have to start with at least 1 bar. But in programming, when you're indexing a bar, indexing starts with 0, with a 0 index. So there is a bit of a difference here, in the naming convention here, because the naming convention uses a bar index. However, the solver uses a look back period because there's other functionality built in here. So so just remember that there's there's a difference of 1 between a period and a bar index here. So, all right, so next we need to analyze the open price. So down here for input B, we're going to set these to the open price. All right, so remember when we're looking back, we're always looking back at the open price, right? So we're always looking back at the open price for a long signal and even a short signal. We're looking at the open price of the bar, right? So that's why input B is always going to be the open price. And so now we just need to set the look back. And so since we're looking back 2 bars, right, we add 1 to that, and that gives us the period. So our look back period is going to be 3. There. All right, and we're gonna leave the look back mode to single value. And so next, the last part that we need is to verify our outputs are set correctly. So let's see here. So if it's a long signal, the low, we're looking for a low price to be below or less than the open price, right? So this open is less than the open price, right? So for our long outputs here, we want A to be less than B, right? We want A, which is our low price, to be less than the open price, right, for a long signal here. So we're going to reverse these outputs. So that's what we want. We want A to be less than B. And 99.9% of the time, if you reverse the long output, or if you reverse the short output, then the opposite needs to be reversed as well. So we're going to reverse the short outputs as well, like that. Yeah, so there we go. All right, so if we look at this, so we are getting a long output here. So let's just look at the long output for these two bars. So yeah, keep in mind, right, this is the reversal bar, but just to understand, right, the output that we're getting from the comparison solver, right? So we know that the low here is less than the open of 2 bars back. So great, we get a long output. Same thing here. The low is less than the open of 2 bars back, right? So we're getting a long output here. Now if we go over here, right, if we look, right, there is no long output on this bar. So the low here is actually above the open of 2 bars back. All right, so remember this solver is always comparing the low or the high to 2 bars back, right? So when we get to this bar here, is comparing the low of this bar to the open of 2 bars back. So it's not actually the bar that we want to look at here, right? So so the output that we're seeing, it's only valid for this bar, right? It's only valid for this bar in comparison to this bar, right? So we need another comparison solver to compare the low of the next bar to the open, which will be 3 bars back, right? So if we're comparing the open here, we're going 1, 2, 3 bars back. So to look at this bar, we need another comparison solver. So to do that, I'm going to take a little shortcut here. So on the solvers tab, right, there's our comparison solver that we just built. I can make a copy of it like that. And now, remember the open price here is going to be 3 bars back, right? So when we want to analyze the next bar moving forward, then we have to look back 3 bars to get to the open price, right, prior to the reversal bar. And so we just simply also go to input B, where our open prices are, and increment the look back to 4 now. So there's our other solver, right, that's going to be used for the next bar, for the second bar after the reversal. Right. And so let's switch back to our logic board, and we're going to go to solver nodes, existing nodes, and there's that new solver that I just made. All right, let's put that on the board, and there we go. So now if we connect this in, and again, right, the low of this bar is above the open. So still, we expect there not to be a long output, and there isn't. And let's go back. Oh, let's see here. I thought we had. So I'm going to see if I can find a situation where the second bar after the reversal actually has a wick on it. You know, just for testing the solver here and showing you guys, and it doesn't look like that happened. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So let's look at this, right? So here's our open. Oops, wrong one. I want the circle, the dot here. There we go. I want the dot. So the high of this bar, right, is above the open, right, of the of this bar here, and so we do get a short. So we are getting a short output on that bar. So if we, let's see here. So if we take a look at another situation, right? So if we look at the high, I keep grabbing the wrong one here. Let me just grab an arrow instead. So if we look at the high, right, of this second bar after the reversal and compare it to the open, right, there's no short output there, right? No short output. Right? So that tells us that the solver's working correctly, right, for the second bar after the reversal by just by comparing these two situations here. Okay, so let's go back here. No, that's actually not a good working situation. So, all right, so let's go back to here. Okay, so we've got the three solvers here, kind of doing the main detection, and so now let's see. Now we just need to kind of put them all together here. So let's go back to the bar inflection here, right? So it's identifying the reversal bar. So what we need to do is we need to take the signal, right, from the reversal bar and shift it on to the next bar, right? Because this is the first bar that we actually want to check, right? That we want to analyze, to see if there was a price pullback. So we need to take our reversal signal or inflection signal and shift it forward onto that next bar, and then we can combine it with our comparison solver here. Let's see here. So what we're going to do is use a look-back node. Right? So there we go. So now our inflection signal is now shifted forward onto the next bar. Yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking to myself if I need an extra look-back node here, because this is going to run in real time, And so what we see, what we're seeing now is we're seeing as if the system was going to run on bar close, right? NinjaTrader can't show us the results of how they're going to look when it runs in real time on historical bars. NinjaTrader is only capable of showing you what things look like when the calculate mode is set to on bar close, right? So again, just to help you guys understand here. So remember, the calculate mode for BloodHound is set to on price changed. Now, since these bars have already closed, right, they're historical bars, so they've already closed. So NinjaTrader cannot show us what it's going to look like with on price changed. So when you're looking at historical data, the only thing NinjaTrader can calculate is if the calculate mode is set to on bar close. So when you're building something, when you're building something here, yeah, you just kind of have to, it just takes experience here, but you just have to realize that what you're seeing is, you know, being calculated with the calculate mode set to on bar close. So in your mind, when you're building something, you kind of have to theorize in your mind how it's going to operate in real time. Yeah, so what I was thinking about on this bar inflection here, right? So with this bar inflection, when this is operating in real time, and actually let's see if we actually have an example. Yeah, shoot. So yeah, so if you look at this, right, we're getting short signals as the bar is building, even though the bar has not reversed down yet, right? So that's what I was considering is, since we're looking at the bar in real time, are these reversal signals, inflection signals, going to cause a problem? And actually, I don't think they will be. So I think just the one look back node here, and so the way that we're with this look back node, what it's doing, right, is it's taking the reversal signal and shifting it on to the next bar. And the way that's happening is the displacement, right? The displacement setting is already set to 1, right? Defaults to 1 there. So if I set that to 0, if I turn the displacement off and set it to 0, right, now we can see the reversal signals, the inflection signals, are on the reversal bars again. Right? So that's what we're using is the displacement of 1 to shift that signal forward 1 bar. And I'm going to rename this here. So that way, so I know this look back node, the function that it's providing is a displacement of 1 bar. All right. And so now what we do is we combine these two together with a AND node, like so. There. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at this situation here. Randall, this kind of situation here where you get double reversal bars, you didn't actually address that in your question there. So that remains a question as to how you want to handle these double reversal bars. Do they get excluded, or do we go ahead and generate a signal here? Because with most Renko bars, when you get these double reversals in a row, 2 reversals in a row, most Renko bars always generate a long wick like so. So it's always going to generate a signal here. That's one of those little situations here that you'll discover, when you're system building, right? Yeah, so let me take a look to see Randall's comments are on that before we keep moving forward. All right, yeah, so Randall's saying that first one would be a long setup. Let's see. Oh, thank you. All right, yeah, so Randall's saying at 9:34, entry needs to be filtered out. Okay, at 9:34, okay, yeah, so the double reversals get excluded. Okay. All right, yeah, so we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this here. Figure out a way to exclude these double reversals like this, all right? So let's continue on with the core logic here. All right, so where we're at right now is we can see that we have the signals for the first bar after the reversal bar, right? So right there and right there. And so we have the solver for the next bar, or basically the second bar after the reversal bar. So we got the logic here, or the solver for the next bar here. And so what we need to do is, right, so basically we're going to take, this logic here and just kind of increment it 1, right? So again, we need to take the reversal bar signal and shift it forward onto the second bar here where the dots are, right? We need to shift it onto the second bar. So again, we're just going to grab another look back node, like so, connect it in there, and this time set our displacement to 2. Right? Pretty straightforward. There we go. And then we just combine that, grab an AND node. So now we just combine these two together, like so, right? And that would be that. And so we can see that, right, there is no signal on these bars, as there should not be, right? Because there's no wick. So let's go back to that prior place back here. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. So we got this one already marked up, and so we know that there should be a signal here. And there we go. And so we have a signal there. Let's see here. Yeah, so we also have some other situations here that need to be filtered out because we have double reversal bars. Yeah, we're getting 2 reversal bars in a row. I think we have that in quite a number of other places as well. Yeah, so we actually have a signal on a reversal bar. And so this one's pretty easy to filter out, right? Because if you notice, right, this is an up bar, right? So this is a reversal up bar, but we're getting a short signal. So if we just incorporate a bar direction solver, that'll fix that problem there. So if I connect that in and connect that in, there we go. That got rid of that one right there. And just kind of scan through here, see if there's any others. Yeah, and that actually fixed our problem over here as well. Yeah, so we did have an erroneous signal right there that was taken care of. And let's see if we have any others. Yeah, let's take a look at this. And yeah, that one looks correct. And here we go. So we have triple reversal bars. All right, yeah, so we'll have to take a look at this, see how we can filter this out. Yeah, I think we have a simple solution here. Right, so the main the first thing that this logic needs to identify, right? The first thing that the system's kind of based on is a reversal bar here. And so when we get these multiple reversal bars in a row, what's happening, right, is we're getting bars in opposite direction. And what we want, right, are situations where, let's see here. Yeah, so what we need here is a situation where we have at least 2 continuous bars prior to the reversal bar, right? So if we grab a bar direction, and we're going to work back here, grab this bar direction, and we can set the number of bars to 2, right? And let's see, for this system, yeah, we probably don't want, to use doji bars here. Although for Renko bars, for these hybrid Renko bars, actually the signals for dojis probably does not matter. But just in case, I'm going to set the signals for dojis to no signal. So that way, if you do have a hybrid-renko bar that does create dojis for some reason, which I can't think of any that do, but just in case, we'll turn the signals off here. So with this bar direction, we want at least 2 bars in a row to be in the same direction, right? So let's rename this. So this is the 2-bar direction. And so when we look at this, right, the first bar, there is no output, but once we get to the second bar, then we have an output here, right? So yeah, so if we look here, grab that, right? So over here, where there's a problem, yeah, so here where there's a problem, there's no output. Yeah, so this would basically, that would remove this whole downtrend, right? So that would exclude this whole market movement because we have several reversal bars in a row, right? So that's going to exclude this whole down move, right? Because we don't have an open price that we can actually get to. So yeah, so let's see here. So we need to combine this bar direction solver with this inflection solver. And so something else that we need to do is, right, you notice that this 2-bar direction solver, right, it's giving us a signal on the last bar, and then the signal stops. So we need to take this output and shift it over on to the reversal bar. And so to do that, we can actually use this start bars a go and set that to 1. So this start bars a go, effectively, it's basically a displacement. So it's doing the same thing as, if we look at one of these look back nodes, it's doing the same thing as a displacement here, right? But technically, I mean, what we're doing is we're starting our counting in a different location, right? So start bars go means start counting bars ago. So the 2 bars in a row that we want, we're actually starting to count that later on. But effectively, it's doing a displacement function. So here we go. So now we have an output, right, on the reversal bar, and so we can now combine that with our bar inflection. So let's grab a AND node, connect those two together. And so let's take a look at that AND node there. And one other thing we need to do. So if we look at the bar direction, right? Again, if we look here on this reversal up bar, so on this reversal up bar, we actually have a short signal, right? But this is a reversal up bar, so we need a long signal on this reversal, right? So if we take a look at a bar inflection, right, we have a long signal. So when we're looking at the down bars, so when we're looking for 2 down bars prior to the reversal bar, well, we need a long output from these down bars, because ultimately, right, we're looking for a possible long signal. So this double down bar detection needs to be a long output to work with the long signal that we're ultimately scanning for. That might happen. So we just need to reverse the output here for this. And let's see here. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use the long short modifier. Connect that in like so. And the long short modifier, the default mode is to swap the outputs, right? So it swapped the short output for a long output. So there's our long output, and it's on our reversal bar. So now, if we shove this back here, and let's rename this, right? So there we go. So this long short modifier is swapping or reversing the output of our bar direction. And let's disconnect that. Connect that in. All right, there we go. There. All right, so now when we look at this AND node, it'll provide us with good, clean reversal bars. So if we go over here, right, the first reversal bar down, well, that's a good one because, right, the two bars prior to it were both up bars. But when we get to the next reversal bar and the next reversal bar, right, there's no signal, right? These two reversal bars are missing their signal because they're invalid, right? Because they have a reversal bar prior to them. So they've just been invalidated, right? So there we go. There's our little logic here to make sure that we're only working with, clean reversal bars here. So we can disconnect those leaders and connect this AND node into the lookback nodes, right? Like so. So we're almost done here. Let's see here. So we're almost done. We need one more thing. We need an OR node, right? Because we have signals from the first bar after the reversal and signals from the second bar after the reversal. So we need to connect those together with an OR node. So yeah, so this AND node is basically the first bar, right? And this AND node down here is going to generate signals from the second bar after the reversal bar. There we go. So we can label those together. All right. And that should be it. So the next step is let's test it. And hey, there we go. And let's see. Yeah, one more adjustment here. So yeah, actually, wow, it's amazing that price is working with this, but right, you can see, darn it. Yeah, Renko bars can move so quick. But what I saw was that when price came down, right, to cross our the open price. Stretch this out a little bit. There we go. So yeah, when price was coming down, right, it generated a down bar, right? So in real time, right, this Renko created a down bar as price was coming down and crossing, right, the open price. So it generated a down bar. And so there was no signal. So we were not getting a signal on this down bar here. Yeah, the reason for that is because of this bar direction solver here, right? If we look at this, right, we have a bar direction solver connected into our AND nodes. And so that bar direction solver, right, was generating a short output. So as price was coming down, right, we had a short output coming from the bar direction, which was interfering from with the long outputs, right, from all the other solvers. So I think we can get rid of this bar direction solver now. So, because we actually have some nice clean reversal bar logic here, right? So that remember that bar direction was kind of a quick fix for trying to fix the double reversal bars that we had. So I don't think we actually need that bar direction anymore. I think we can just get rid of it now that our reversal bars are cleaned up here, right? So let's see here. Let's name this here. There. All right. So this AND node is identifying, basically clean reversal bars. It's kind of a subjective name there, but there. All right, so let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see here. Yeah, we actually have a long signal there. Weird. And a long signal there. Yeah, so I'm just kind of analyzing this to see. Yeah, right. This would all be correct here. Let's see. Reversal. Well, actually, there are some signals that aren't correct. So, yeah, so I need to figure out what's going on with that bar. Yeah, figure out what's going on with this bar. Looking at these are actually correct. So this short, let's take a look at this short signal, for example. Right. So we have our reversal bar here, right? So we have our reversal down bar. So this bar printed, and we can see the wick, right, did not, yeah, let's see here. Let's extend that over. There we go. So our wick, right, didn't cross the open, so no signal here. But yeah, on this bar, on this bar, right, this bar was looking like it could have been a down bar. And of course, price came up and crossed our line, generated that signal, and probably came back down, and price might have fluttered up back and forth, and then it would have closed up, right? So you got to keep in mind here, we're analyzing this stuff in real time. So obviously you can't predict whether a bar is going to reverse or not in real time. If we could all do that, we'd be millionaires. But since we can't predict the future, yeah, you're going to get signals like this on reversal bars. Yeah, because price did pull back, crossed our line, and and it might have gone down, but ultimately it reversed. Ultimately, price did keep going up and generated a reversal bar there. Yeah. Now these bars, Yeah, we're gonna have to do some testing here and find out what could be causing the signals where these triangles are. Interesting. It seems like it's only happening on the up bars. It's only happening on the up bars. Ah. Okay. Yeah, so I think I know what's happening here. Let's see. We're on gold. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you notice how it's all only happening on these up bars? So what that tells me is that this Unirenko was not programmed correctly. There's actually a floating point error that this bar type has not accounted for. Yeah, so that's why so unfortunately, when you use NinjaTrader's little display here, NinjaTrader cuts the decimal points off, right? So we can see that the open is 1851.9, right? And NinjaTrader's cutting off the decimal points. So you can't actually detect if there's a floating point error using NinjaTrader's tools, even their data box here. Ninja's data box also cuts off the decimal points. So if we look here, right, the open price here, there we go. Yeah, so the open price is 51.9, but this Unirenko bar actually has a floating point error, so it's slightly less than 0.9, which is giving us a false signal here. Yeah, so also, what also can happen is when you're trading commodities like gold or oil, prices will come in that are slightly off of the tick. So, I don't know how this happens, but it does happen. If you've ever been a commodity trader and you watch the real-time data coming in, you will see prices print where people are able to buy in half of a tick prices, or even a tenth of a tick. Yeah, I saw that all the time when I used to trade oil. I would see prices coming in that were a tenth of a tick, or basically a hundredth of a penny. Yeah, oil trades in 1 penny increments, and I would see prices coming in on 100th of a penny. Yeah, and so I have a gold up here, and I wonder if I switch over to maybe like the NQ, if that'll fix this problem, right? Well, actually, I don't want to fix it yet. So yeah, so just keep that in mind, guys, that if you're trading commodities, prices will come in a fraction of a tick, and the problem is NinjaTrader won't show you that, right? You can see the data box is basically not showing us that. So just something to be aware of. So what we can do is to account, for these flaws in the system here, is these two comparison solvers here. What we can do is we can take the difference here and we can put in a fraction of a tick. So I can put in half a tick, right? So I put in half a tick. Basically what I'm saying is that, right, I need the low of the bar to penetrate or go past the open price by at least half a tick, right? And so that will basically remove any kind of error in your bar type, or any kind of trade data that comes in in a fraction of a tick as well. So like with gold and oil. So this solver here, right, I have it set to half a tick, and the other solver down here, I'm going to do the same thing here. We'll put in basically a fraction of a tick here, like so. And we can see that stripped out those false signals there. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we actually have a double reversal here. So we need to get rid of this signal here. And again, that's just one of those things that's kind of hard to theorize when you're building a system that operates in real time. So I think what I need to do is, let's see here. Yeah, so I think what will fix this is just kind of a guess, is I'm going to make an adjustment to the bar direction. So instead of using the built-in bars of go to shift my signals over, right, instead I'm actually going to use another look back node, and I think that will solve my problem. All right, so let's connect that all up, and the next step here is to go test it. All right, so let's watch this, and oh wow, look at that, just pow. Okay, here we go. Maybe if price makes a 2-tick, bingo. There we go. All right, so we were kind of fortunate in being able to see this in real time here. There. But what I really need to do here is actually disconnect the live data feed, and let's connect to our simulated data feed so we can actually test different scenarios here. Yeah, so this first short signal, you know, that one's okay because this first reversal is clean, and so in real time, yeah, so in real time, yeah, this would have generated a signal, but the second one, yeah, the second one should have been removed here. So we'll have to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, all right. So let's reverse this down, and I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to try and create this situation over here. I'm going to try and recreate that. Try and figure out what is going on here with our logic. Well, this is just going to take some extreme patience. All right, hopefully, there we go. Okay, good. So I managed to get this bar to reverse in time, right? So bingo, yeah, so, you know, short signal as expected. Okay. Yeah, so we got another short signal immediately. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So what I'm looking at, right, I'm looking at our clean reversal. And so, so this reversal bar definitely is a clean one, but this one, obviously, you know, I guess we'll call this a dirty reversal bar. Yeah. So that bar direction that we had was actually kind of necessary. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that bar direction that we had in there before, let's pop that back in there. It was necessary. However, let's see. I'm going to make some adjustments here. So I think I might have been, yeah, so well, my guess here, remember I was guessing that previously the start bars ago may not have been working right, but now that I was able to watch what was happening in real time, now I was able to realize that I think the start bars ago is fine. So I don't think I need this look back. So let's pull it back out of the system here. And this bar direction, let's see, this, yeah, this needs a start bars ago. So I want this bar direction to look at the closed bar. I don't want it looking at the bar in real time. Right? So let's pull this back. Let's see, hopefully my signals still exist. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so when we were looking at this, yeah, so I want this bar direction. So let's say, so when this bar is printing here, stretch this out, right? So while this bar is building, we want to look back and verify that the previous bar was a down bar. All right, so we know that this reversal bar or the previous bar needs to be a down bar. And so since we're operating in real time, the bar direction solver here, right, we need to look back basically one bar. So the start bars ago is it's looking back to the closed bar, and it's going to verify that the previous bar was a down bar. And so now when we step forward onto the next bar, well, so when this bar is building, right, so this bar is building in real time, and so we want to look back, and this, so right, so the bar that had closed, the previous bar, right, it should also be a down bar, right? If it's an up bar, then we know that we actually have a bunch of reversals. Yeah, so on the second bar, we want to look back at the closed bar and make sure that it's also a down bar. So yeah, so that was the error here with this bar direction that we originally had in here, was it was looking at the real-time bar building, but we actually needed it to look one bar back at the closed bar. So having our bars ago set to 1, and we can rename this here to the closed bar direction, right? That's what it's doing, is it's looking at the closed bar direction there. And so now if we connect that in to our logic, now that should clean things up. Yeah, there we go. So now that works, right? So again, our first bar, right, you know, we don't know if it's going to reverse or not. So when price comes up, so when price pulls back, right, that's going to generate a signal, and then hopefully it's going to reverse in the same direction there. Yeah, so this first bar here, yeah, so you might see signals on a reversal bar here because our setup is correct. It's just that prices happen to reverse on us. So, but the next bar, at least we got rid of the signals on the next bar here. We did clean that up. So, because we no longer have a clean reversal bar anymore, right? So this reversal bar is no longer a clean one because we had 2 prior reversal bars. So there we go. So we did clean up the signals on that. There. Okay. Let's, yeah, I'll keep that there. All right, so let's see. Let's test this again. All right, there's our signal. All right. Price crossed the open, like so. And so we'll let price continue up and hopefully generate a reversal bar for us. All right, if price, well, there we can see that there's no signal on this second bar anymore. So there we go. So we kind of cleaned up that situation there. Yeah. All right, with that, yeah, I think we got, yeah, I think we finally got all this reversal bar situation cleaned up. So let me open this up. So there's our logic. And let's, yeah, we delete this look back node. Yeah, so here's a comment here, not about this system here, but just about NinjaTrader. So apparently Randall is using NinjaTrader 7. Yeah, so NinjaTrader 7 has only 2 calculation modes here. Yeah, so with NinjaTrader 7, this calculate setting it's a true or false, right? Yes or no. That's the only 2 options we have with NinjaTrader 7 on this calculate. It's actually the setting is calculate on bar close. So the name for NinjaTrader 7 is different. Yeah, so with NinjaTrader, either you calculate on bar close or you calculate on each tick with NinjaTrader 7. So if the calculate on bar close is set to true, then you calculate on bar close. If it's false, then NinjaTrader 7 is calculating on each tick. So that's kind of one of the nice things about NinjaTrader 8 is they added this third option to reduce the CPU load of indicator calculations. Yeah. So this is a really nice perk that I know a lot of customers have been requesting and kind of screaming at NinjaTrader about back in the old days of NinjaTrader 7 and 6.5, you know, only having the 2 calculation modes. Yeah, so it's nice that we have this third option here of on price change. So again, that just reduces the CPU calculation load there. All right, so anyways, that was just a little comment there from Randall. Let's see what else we have here. All right, no, I don't see any other questions.